Okay. So the kind of point of this right now is that we're going to get your let me make the screen bigger, your lead magnet email follow-ups done. And so this is going to be for your free report, 10 things your grandmother got wrong. So I try to,
yeah, go ahead.
I try to name everything so that there is a really good naming convention so you can find things really fast.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And so typically what I do is I always start my opt-in campaigns with the word opt-in. And I use that category so that you can do a really easy sort. And then I always put the name of whatever the lead magnet is so that you can just go to things very fast and find them. So we've renamed this now, opt-in campaign, 10 things your grandmother got wrong. So we've got, the other thing is,
are you supposed to be showing me what you're doing?
You're not showing my screen? You're not seeing my screen?
No.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's reshare again.
There it is.
Can you see it? Okay.
Yep.
So to rename it, what I did was went to actions, rename, and then I just renamed your campaign.
Okay.
So the other thing is that as you get a little more, where you've got more opt-ins that you're using and potentially exit pops and things like that, you want to make sure that you're naming your web forms too, because you want to be able to find them later on down the road.
Okay.
So, so what I would do on this is not that. And you'll know what these mean, and so you don't have to like name the whole thing. A couple of things that folks get a little stuck with in Infusionsoft is moving things around. So for example, I'm here and I've typed. So just like if you were using Facebook, you would do your shift enter and you can do your line breaks, things like that. Once are you on a Mac?
Yes.
Okay. So the other thing is, everybody thinks you should be able to scroll, and you cannot scroll in Infusionsoft.
Okay.
You do on a Mac, it's a right click, hold down, and you move your mouse. And you can move your campaign canvas up and down. And that's helpful, especially if you're doing like a long nurture series email, because your campaign's going to start moving this way or it's going to move down. And it took me like a year I was making my campaign canvas small so I could see the whole thing. Finally one day, Mike Edelman was like, hey, Jen, just do this. And so, yeah, it's just a hold down, right click, hold down, and you can move everything around.
Okay.
So the other thing you can do here is you double click, kind of like when you're on a Mac and you want to rename a file. If you just click, it's going to put your cursor where you want it.
Right. And
so
then
here, I'm going to just copy this. And I double clicked there and it highlighted the whole thing. And I'm going to paste that again. And now this one was from landing page.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just have to go and change that on my website.
Got your lead. Nope. You don't have to make any changes on your website. This is unless you need to re-put these forms in, but
no, I just need to rename them.
No, you don't have to do anything. It will automatically update. Once we publish this, it will dynamically update everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So let's see here. So we've got our tags applied, and let's see what tags we're using. So my only problem with the way that we've named these tags here is that we don't know what lead magnet this is. And so once you get more lead magnets in play, you would have no idea that this is the one that they actually opted in for. So before we move forward, let's go to your tags. And let's find, these are your,
yes.
And for the purpose of these tagging, of this, of these tags, this is up to you. I'm not sure I would create 2 tags here for this, because you're going to know it here when you look at your reporting, which how many came from here, how many came from here.
Right. And it's essentially the same thing, right?
But we're also applying a lead source here. The lead sources I love. And so what would be happening here is if when somebody actually logs into this or they opt in, this lead source is going to be applied. So you're going to know it was the sidebar or the landing page.
Okay.
But then when we apply the tag, if we just are applying the prospect tag for what they opted in for, you're going to see both of these things in their record. So I don't think it's worth junking up your tags to do this.
Okay.
So what I would do here is we'll open this one. And one of the things from a naming convention perspective, so Infusionsoft.
So you're recording this, right?
I am.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Infusionsoft is always going to give you your web forms in alphabetical order. I'm sorry, your tags in alphabetical order.
Right. Okay.
I have a little trick for the tags I use the most, and it's a period and then the category name, because those will always populate at the top of your list. So for me, my prospect tags and my buyer tags, which are the ones I use the most in my campaigns and I do the most reporting on, I start with a period.
Okay.
And so, so here what I would do is I would do period prospect hyphen 10 things. What is it? 10 things your grandmother never told you?
Yeah. Or got wrong. Got wrong.
And I would just call that report. And so when you edit an existing tag, it again is going to update dynamically everywhere.
Okay.
So you don't have to do anything once you go in. And so if you decide that you don't like the way that that's working for you later down the road, you can come in here and rename it and it'll update for you. So I'm not sure we need this one, but I'm going to leave it here just for right now.
Okay.
And so what I would do then is come back to your campaign and see it updated dynamically. That's the one I changed. So this one will need to change because we're using this other one. And so the nice part is now that I've hit period, prospect,
it brings it up.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. So now it doesn't matter from here forward where they came from. We're still going to deliver the same amount of content. So we're going to open this up. And let's see what we've got in here. Okay. I'm going to need the link for.
Oh, that's, I didn't know where to get it from.
It's okay.
Yeah. So you can see it goes in it goes in here. I know that you can't see me. It's where it should go download the copy. So it should be 10 things.
Right. But where do they get it from? Is it on Amazon S3? Is it, where's the file stored?
I actually loaded it into Infusionsoft.
Okay. So.
I have Amazon 3. I've just never used it. So I figured it was.
So here's what I would do so that we can get this done. There is nothing wrong. There's no problem with using Infusionsoft to deliver this to get started. Long term, I would not. And let me tell you why. When you load things to Amazon S3, or any cloud service, you could make edits to the file, reload it, and use the same file name in Amazon. Okay. And that way, if somebody goes back to it later to access it, it's going to be the updated report.
Okay.
Which you can't do that in Infusionsoft. You can't override
it. Take it out and put
Correct.
it back
in. Exactly.
Then you have to link them back up again, or?
Exactly. Yep. And so this way, if you keep your links the same in Infusionsoft, in Amazon S3, it'll just automatically update everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
like I say, I never got around to using it, so I never really learned it. I figured it wasn't worth the time at this point.
Yeah. So actually, once you start delivering a little more content, and you probably are going to want to, because you can also, depending on how you want to deliver your podcast, you could actually download that MP4 or MP3, whatever the file is, and load it right up there. And it's so inexpensive to store things on Amazon. And because you're using a Mac, you'll want to use this little tool right here is called CyberDuck.
Oh, okay.
Open it up for you. Oh, actually, make this smaller. For Windows, it's Cloudberry, but for Mac, it's called CyberDuck. Okay. And what this lets you do is it's like I don't even know what the right word is for this, but it allows you to actually just quickly do a drag and drop.
Yeah, it's like a file manager.
Kind of like FTPing stuff. And so, it's a file manager. And so what I do, for example, we have all these buckets, these top level buckets, but the MyNAMS, we have it all broken out by, is it auto webinar, bonuses, these are our challenges, courses. And so then once we start drilling down, this is all the content that's, associated with that. And it makes it one of the most important things and that everybody forgets to do when they load in Amazon is to actually make the files public. And so when you're using CyberDuck, if you just right click on it and we go to info, this little box is going to come up here, and permissions. So you can see that we're the ones, Maximize, that's our account name. We have full control over the file. Okay. Anybody else only has read control, which means they can't edit the files. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and to do that, you just click on the next line down and, or you just click on this little gear, everyone, and then click on it and you just say read. And so it will automatically give you full control when you load it. And so that's the number one error that most people forget to do when they load content to Amazon is forget to actually share it with the public so they can use it.
Yes.
And then you again would right click on it, and then it's going to give you, because I'm recording, it's going to take a minute here. Under this copy URL, it's going to give you a whole bunch of different options. And if your site is HTTPS, so you've got the SSL, this is the file you would want, was your HTTPS URL. And you just click on it and it's copied to your clipboard.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, little side note there.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is we're just going to start putting your content in. And so I've copied your subject line. And so the first thing, Infusionsoft always will immediately do your from email address from the contact owner. Once you start getting more, if you had like a VA, for example, who came in and manually entered somebody, they would be the contact owner. And so I don't ever use contact owner to send an email. I just always use whatever our top level email is. And so if you're going to say from Susan Rosen, it depends on what you want the from to read from the customer. If you want to change this, if you just go to other Then you can
Include
type in
one.
whatever you want.
Okay.
And so what I would do here is it's healthy tips over 50.
After 50.
After 50. And it's the number, right?
50, yes.
Okay. And then tell me it was Susan at Healthy Tips After 50.
Yeah, healthytipsafter50.com.
Okay.
I have another one I did for contact. I have one for contact and one for admin as well.
So the one thing to remember is when you do email, when you send email, those email addresses are considered anything that's a admin, info,
right.
Front part of it is has a higher potential of being marked as spam.
Okay.
And so, but what you can do here is you can go in and edit this if you want to in the in your actual record to make it what you want it to say, so that you don't have to manually type this in every time. So if you want it to say healthy tips over 50 after 50, you could change your contact record there and it will automatically update there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind using my name on it. I'm just wondering if I should have a separate email for.
So here's what I would do personally. I would not. This is a great email address to use from a deliverability standpoint.
Okay.
So I wouldn't use this one as your personal. If you are going to use a personal email address that is going to be at healthytipsafter50.com, I might do Susan R or something a little bit different, but use this for your marketing email because you're going to get better deliverability with using your name in here. Okay. Okay. So for right now, I'm just going to leave this then as it is. And so the email is going to come from you. And subject, I would say, what did we say here? Your free report. I like to put the name of what they opted in for in the subject line. It's just a reminder instead of your free report. It like reminds them, oh yeah, I forgot. And that way they can go back and search if they're like, oh, I want to know where that is. That makes sense. What I would do is something like this. Download inside. Okay. And this is a pretty cool new thing that most CRMs are doing. It's called preview text. Let me show you what it actually will look like. Let me find one.
So what's up with all the stuff in the Infusionsoft Facebook? But everybody, you know, they're, I mean, it sounds like everybody's having problems everywhere, right? Not just with Infusionsoft.
Yep. It's the changes that were made with Yahoo when Verizon bought Yahoo, I guess. And so let me show you an example here of, so we're looking at promote. Can you see the promote labs?
Yeah.
So here's their subject line. If you sell data products online, but then you see you've got mail from Promote Labs right there. So if you open their email, you don't see that anywhere in this in the top part of this email. That is called preview text. So it gives you an opportunity to do like a second subject line just to try to grab more attention. And so they don't see it in the body of the email. And so sometimes for me, I actually find that I have better results using my stronger subject line here in my preview.
That makes sense.
Than I do up here in my main subject line. But it's something that you have to test, but I like using it. And so now when we write our emails, we typically write, so we would do this. We would do subject line. And what did we just call that? Download. Just going to put this here so you've got it actually in a document for yourself as well.
Okay.
And then we call this pre-head. This is what we call it. You can call it whatever you want, but pre-head. And so let's see. We can just say here, your report is enclosed. Let's just say that. You might want to change this, but I just want to show you what it will do for you here. So let me copy this, put it here. Okay. So that way, when you have, at some point in time, you're going to want to be able to give this to like a VA or something like that, and they just have exactly what you want them to say. All right. So the next thing is, Infusionsoft doesn't use this.
Okay.
It's contact first name. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here just so that you've got it correct.
Yes.
Once you do these the first time, though, once you do these the first time, you can copy and paste, and it'll save everything. The other thing I personally don't do is I don't put a comma after my hi, because if they have gotten on your list with no, like no first name, I just think about things in that perspective. So if it was like, hi, Jen, copy, and you were using you were using like an embed in the whole sentence, like a merge field in their whole sentence, if it was blank, then it would look weird that you were going to have, punctuation in there.
Yep,
so,
I've seen that on things I've gotten. Yeah.
Yeah. But here, Infusionsoft has now added a default, and so now it says hi friend. I think you can turn that off if you want, but if there is no contact first name, it is going to put a default in there for you.
Oh, okay.
So okay, so I'm gonna, that's all we got. Copy that. It always puts in all these extra spaces. So it's easier to do it this way than it is to try to put it in a text document and have it.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
One big paragraph. Okay. So my other suggestion is, and this is just from experience, since you're targeting people who are over 50, I would go here to design, and I would bump up your text to 18. Okay. We have started bumping all of our email copy text up just to make it easier for people to read. And once you have done this, once you've started doing this, Infusionsoft is going to know this. And so, okay, as promised, here's the link to download your copy. And then you'll find out, here are a couple things. That's just the beginning of the subscriber. Health information. Here.
Huh. Oh, I thought I'd taken that out of there. Okay.
Okay. This part right here. Which part?
The about if you're not sure how to do that.
It's okay. We can put a link in there really quick. It's no big deal.
Okay. I just wasn't sure where to send them to.
Sure.
There should be an Infusionsoft one, I'm guessing. Everyone else seems to have it. Because I copied some of this from Aweber.
I actually use it from, I actually use one from an actual email authority site, not Infusionsoft. Because people are like, who's Infusionsoft? Whereas more people may see like send receive or sender, whatever. All right, so we're going to thank you for subscribing. As promised, here's the link to download. So I would highlight this right here. I would link in multiple places. So we're going to create your link. And hold on one second. File download, because I never do this. So your file download. Okay, so it's not here. Your file isn't here. So where is?
Well, I actually put it in two places. I put it one in under product or something, and one I did in just in the email part. It said for a report or something.
So it definitely wouldn't be under products. Just let's see here. I have no idea where to put this.
What about under reports? Or that's their reports?
No, that's their report.
That's their reports, yeah.
Where do you have that file? Is it on Google Drive?
That's a good question. Okay, let me just open up my other screen here. Just 1 second. Oh, damn. I don't want you over there. I want, how do I move this? Well, let me see. Okay. Okay. Do I have it? That's an, I don't know if that's, I think that's an old version that I have in there. Well, maybe not. Actually, there should be one in there that I had shared. Because you guys saw it, right?
Yeah, if you could just pop the link in the chat for me really quick, and I'll download it and upload it.
Okay. I'm guessing this is the right one. Link sharing off. Well, that's probably not it then. Link sharing. Oh, I hate the way this thing works.
Okay, we'll just use this one.
I'm still not used to using Google Docs. So we want anyone with the link, right? To anyone with the link. Okay. And all they can do is see it, right? Just can view.
No, because I'll have to be able. No, I'm going to download it. So make sure that I can do whatever I want with it. I'm going to download it, and I'm going to show you how to upload it.
Okay, just a second. Anyone with the link can access,
edit.
can find. Oh, you want to edit? Okay. Can edit. Okay. Why is it asking? Okay, copy link. So when I do copy link, it copies it, right?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second, Susan.
I lost
My mother-in-law has been having some problems. Let me see if this is what's going on. Give me 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I had to get back to the Zoom page. Okay. Why can't I move that back?
Okay. Here's the link to download. Link it. File. Upload. Is this what it's called right here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we need to rename that.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'll have to go and make sure that it's
Okay.
right.
So file download, choose file, upload new file.
Okay, and where is that? That's just under deliver content?
No, hold on one second. That is, so what I did was I highlighted the copy that I wanted to link, highlighted it, clicked on link.
Mm-hmm.
I chose file download, and then I uploaded the file, but so now the file is there.
Okay.
But I think you're going to need to go in and edit this because this isn't a PDF here.
Oh, that was just the front. Oh,
yeah.
hell.
So it's okay, but
Okay. I'll just do it. Yeah, yeah.
Go in and do this. So
right, the one I have is a PDF. Okay.
yeah. So so anyway, so yeah, what you would do here is then just, so I went ahead and put your instructions here for white labeling while you were looking for that.
Oh, thank you.
And let's see. And so any other place, like here, don't forget to download your report. I would link it right there.
Yep.
And then I would go ahead and just add that same thing to your button, which would be here, file download. And I just changed the copy a little bit on that. And so that would be it. And so the other thing, let me see here. Let me look at the rest of. Okay. So what I would do is, you've got how many emails? We've got 3.
I wrote 4.
4. Okay.
And the last one is if they didn't download the number 5. It's actually not a number 5. I just added a 5th one at the bottom as a follow-up if they don't download off the first one.
Okay. So here's how I would actually do this, because you want people, if they haven't downloaded it, you want to make sure they download regardless.
Right.
But you still want to get this nurture content in to them.
Okay.
So I would put here, I would put email number 5 right here, and I'm going to make a note to you right here. Number 5 goes here. And then, so let's just say that somebody downloads your content. How many days do you want to wait before you send them email number 2? Which is?
Right. Oh yeah. What did you think of it?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking maybe 2 days.
Okay. So let's change this to 2 days here. And let's remove this email right here. Actually, no, I don't want this here. I'm just going to delete these for right now. So the premise of how Infusionsoft works with these goals, this is a link click goal. That means whenever somebody takes this action right here, everything back here stops. So this is why I would put all of your reminders for somebody who doesn't download their content here.
Okay.
Because the second they download it, they've met this link click goal, and now we want to move on.
Yep.
So I'm going to set the first one up for you, and then you can set the second one up once you've actually got the right content in here. You're going to have to go back in and edit this, but
Yes.
I wanted to show you the premise behind this. So you can have multiple, I'm just going to, for example, I'm just going to show you. You can have multiple link click goals. So we can say that somebody downloaded the content. We can say somebody subscribed to your blog post. We can say somebody, if you have another link in there for them to take some kind of action, you could change that out there as well. So that you can, like for me, when I send an email out to somebody and it has 2 links in it, it has the link to actually, let's just say, buy a single product, or to enroll into the Insiders Club. It's really important to me to communicate to them about the Insiders Club than it is for me to talk to them about a single product purchase. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, and as you get a little more, in depth in this, you'll start seeing the cool ways to use this. So we want to say they've downloaded the content. So what you do is you open this up, and you can see it's going to give you a list of everything that is behind that link click goal. So there's email number 1 and email number 2. So what we care about here is making sure that we've selected only the links that are the download links. Because we don't care if they click to go look at how to whitelist you.
Oh, got it. Yep, yep.
Or to unsubscribe. We care if they've downloaded. So you'll need to go in and edit this once you've put your new, once you've uploaded the new report and you link it in here. And what would happen is if you went ahead and linked the don't forget, and you had a link here behind your button, it's actually going to give you this checkbox behind each one of these right here.
Right.
So you would just check that one, you would check that one, and you would check that one. And you would leave these unchecked, the white label and the unsubscribe.
Yeah.
You would leave those unchecked.
Okay.
Then you would do the same exact thing here. And that way we know that as soon as somebody clicks one of those links, this campaign is going to stop for them to continue reminding them to download the content. Okay. So then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to grab another sequence here. And this is going to be, just, you can call this whatever you want when you're working in here, but I'm just going to call this indoctrination.
Actually have an extra R in there, but that's okay.
Indoctrination series. Now this one, we want them to read everything that you're going to be putting in here. And so this one, we're just going to grab an email. Actually, first we're going to grab a timer. And we're going to wait 2 days, any day. And so here's the big catcher, the big catch you have to remember. And this hits me all the time. So I live on Eastern time. Our app lives in Central.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so, because that's where our app is registered. So yours is registered in Pacific. So if you wanted to go out at 8:00 a.m., that's really going to be 11 o'clock Eastern, you know, whatever. So you can always click this, use the contact's time zone.
Okay.
And then it sends it at 8:00 their time. And so I use this all the time.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure I'm getting in the inbox at the right time. So let's see. Indoc, let's just call this indoc number 1. Let's do this. Because we've already set up some of your stuff here.
Yeah.
Let's save this as a template. That way you don't have to spend a bunch of time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you just fill it in.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So here's a tip I'm going to tell you about really quick, because all of your stuff for right now, all of your call to actions, everything are going to be about getting people back to your site, getting them to look at your podcast, your blog posts, and things like that. So Infusionsoft has a really cool little tool called campaign links. And it's right here under links. And you're going to see it just like this to start with. And you're just going to click add link. And what are you calling this? HTA50?
Yeah.
Blog. Okay. So here's your page. Go ahead and copy it. Post this here. I always use descriptions. Just when other people start getting in and working on things, it helps to let people know what's happening and what's going on. And so this is just a link to main blog on HTA50. And then we just hit save. Now let's say HTA50. So for your podcast, well, there will be a separate link for iTunes. All the different things. Okay. So
they can also get it on the website.
Okay, so let's start there. Podcast on site.
And that's just the home page.
Okay. You want to think of things that you're going to use over and over and over again.
Right.
Main podcast on HTA50. And so your Apple links, your iTunes links, your everything, you want to make sure you use that. So I'll just do these two to start with, and then you can, once you've got the others, you can add them in here. So we just hit close. Now I'm going to go back into this indoctrination series. What I just did with the link setup, it's typically what I start with first when I'm building the campaign out, so that I can then just work through everything.
Right.
So let me open my email back up. And so, so here where you have the word blog,
right,
I'm going to go to links. Now I'm going to pull campaign links. There's your blog. Insert the link. The reason why I love this is because if you do that and you decide at any given point in time you want to change the link out to something else,
right?
If you edit it there in the campaign links, anybody that has received this email ever in the past, it will be updated.
Okay.
But if you were to actually manually put the link in here to the blog, you cannot do that.
It's stuck. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And so I love that, because if you've ever done a bad link in an email or anything like that, it allows you to fix everything after the fact. And so, oops, I didn't want to do that. Podcast. So you would just do that here. And so once you've got your links for your Apple, and I would probably call this, is it really called Apple Podcasts or is it called iTunes?
You know, everybody still talks about iTunes, but Apple Podcasts is what they're trying to push, even though you go to your iTunes, right?
Okay. So what I would do here is then, because you are going to use this all the time, this little, this thing. So I would just go ahead and set each one of these up and then create your links in your campaign links to call them Stitcher. And you know, so like here would be, you would just link it straight to the website.
Yeah, be the podcast.
Exactly. And then I would also make sure that you've grabbed your link there for your resources page and add that, because again, you'll be using that all the time. As you start working through this a little bit more, you may find, especially with this indoctrination series, because you'll be using it over and over again for different lead magnets. Let me show you. Oh, I forgot I'm in Mark's account. I can do whatever I want. Ha ha. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to drag this over here so you can see it. Okay. So this is one of my campaigns, and you've probably seen this, although you may not have seen this because you shouldn't be getting these emails.
Although I still can't get myself off of
which I can't figure out. And so it's actually on my list to talk to Mark about today. But so anyway, this right here is a template that I created. And so that way it's got our logo in the top. It's got this little header right here. It's got this little image. So that way I always am giving access. I always have these call to actions at the top of these templates. So I don't have to do this every single time.
Right.
And so at some point when you get a little more comfortable in here, you might want to create a template like this, or you might want to do it now before you get started. It's not hard to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You would just build it out and then do a save as to save to your main templates. And that way you've kind of got this branded the way that you want it branded for everything moving forward. Right. You know, there's a whole conversation that happens around whether or not you should have images or not have images in your emails. When I'm sending sales emails, I don't put images in it. When I'm sending emails like this that are giving people access to content or access to free content, I want it to have more of a newsletter look. And I wanted to have more links in it to help them engage with us more. And so I have a template that is just a straight sales template that is, there's no header image in it. The only links it goes to are the sales pages, and it's pretty much plain text. And then this is kind of my newsletter style template that I use for delivering products, and when I want to make sure that they're seeing multiple call to actions. So you might want to create something like that's got this in your header up here, so that you're always, every one of these nurture indoctrination email campaigns is just pushing the fact that people can that they can access your podcast in multiple different places. And then what you would do on this is, once you've saved the template, you've created it, and you've actually put your campaign links into each one of these, you'll never have to change it again. It'll be there in every campaign that you bring it into.
Okay. Yeah. Should are these short enough? I mean, I always have a tendency to talk too much. So
so the thing there's two different things about creating these emails, and I've got another call here in about 10 minutes. But one of the things about email is, especially when you're getting started, you are dictating the relationship and the conversation that you want to have with your people from the beginning. And so for us, for example, I can't write short emails. When I write a short email, we do not get any traction off of them, because we have trained our list to expect that. And that's okay, because that's our brand. Now we have people that come in that are not part of our community, or not really aligned with our brand that way, and say, your emails are way too long. Why can't you just be shorter? And because we've tried that and it doesn't work. And so you may not like it, and that means that you're not really going to fit into our community. And so it's really kind of dependent on how you want to do it. But the one thing I would do that I've really started doing a lot is, because our emails are so long, I run all of my emails through Grammarly, because they help me be a little more succinct because they're so long. And so that's the only thing I would recommend if you start having long emails, is just make sure that you're running them through something like that, so that you're getting any extraneous words out, so you can still keep the length but not sound like you're rambling. Because if I type like how I talk, then it's majorly rambling, But I try to type like how I talk anyway, because it's conversational, but I just have to do the I don't think that these were too long at all, especially for an indoctrination series. You're really wanting people to get to know you. So.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, but not bore them.
And so what you would do here is, once you've set this first one up the way you want it, you can hover your mouse over the parts that you would duplicate. You can right click, duplicate, and then drag it. Especially if all your timers are going to be the same, or you know what I mean? You just know that you've already got your settings here. I'm going to delete these though for right now, until you actually get this one finished, so that you will like, why did you do that? There's one last little tip though I have to show you in here, because this will throw you every time if you don't. So let's say that somebody comes in here and they have never downloaded the content that they opted in for. You have to make a decision about what you want to do with those people. Are you going to put them in a general mailing list, or do you want to go ahead and get the indoctrination series to them? What do you want to do? Because we have this goal set right here of they have to download the content. If they don't, they are never going to move forward from here. So what would we do? Actually, we're going to move that up just like that. What would we do with these people if they never downloaded? For the example here, let's just say we're still going to go ahead and send them to the indoctrination series. We have to connect these. Because otherwise they would stop here and they would never move forward. Okay? I'm going to leave that unconnected for right now. I
think they ought to being
I do
connected.
too.
Yeah,
You think?
because
Yeah, I do too.
because some people, they sign up, and they may not be signing up for the free thing. They're just signing up because they want to get the emails or other stuff.
Right. And so, yes. And so as you start moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to start looking. And this is kind of important here because Infusionsoft is looking at some things for you internally of how much people are engaging with your business. Mm-hmm. And at some point, if they're not engaging with you, Infusionsoft is not going to let you mail them any longer. Mm-hmm. And the content is going to become what they call unengaged, non-marketable. And so I've been doing a lot of work here lately internally on only mailing to the people who have been engaging with our content for the past 6 months. And Infusionsoft is never going to let you send an email through Infusionsoft to somebody who has opted out mm-hmm. or to somebody who is bouncing. And so you don't have to worry about that. But at the same time, you just don't want to keep pulling those people into your lists to mail to. Mm-hmm. It just makes your numbers look bad. And then it kind of makes you feel depressed about life because you're like, man, why are my emails, my opens and, everything's so low and I've sent to this many people.
Right.
And so you just want to start being able to do that in here. And so you'll, as you move forward, you'll be able to start here under marketing reports. There's a lot of different reports in here. These are relatively new, and you can start pulling reports based on campaign goal completion. So if you want to know how many people are actually downloading your content, you would open this up, select that campaign, and it's going to give you all the goal reporting in that. And so you can use all these reports and things like that. So once you've done all the work in here, then you're going to publish it. And you can go in here. Let's just say you only have these 2 emails done right now, and then like maybe email number 1 in here. You know that you've got 2 days before email number 2 here is going to go out. You can publish this. And you just have to remember that if you missed your deadline, for example, and you waited 3 days before you put email number 2 in here, and you did it and you went ahead and published, whoever's sitting in the queue, it's going to go right away. And so you just kind of have to think through those things if you're working in a campaign that's active, what's going to happen if you hit publish, and who's going to get an email right this very second. So you just kind of got to remember that.
So then if people, because this one, for instance, is going to be off of that sidebar, right? So that's going to be there all the time, right? So people will be coming through this all the time. Right? So at a certain point, I would want them to go to some other like ongoing campaign, right? Okay.
So
okay.
There's 2 tricks, and then I've got to go for this other call. But there's 2 things that as you start putting more and more content in, and I use this all the time, I have something called a pause promo state. And that is if somebody is active in a campaign, and I'm like, let's say you want to send a broadcast email out to your list once you've posted a new piece of blog content or you've got a new podcast live.
Yep.
You don't want people to get a ton of emails all at once.
Right.
And so you could come in here, let's just say for this indoctrination series, and you could create a tag right here that's called pause promo or whatever you want to call it. And that way, when you select the list of people that you wanted to send a broadcast email to, you would just exclude anyone that has this tag.
Okay.
And then let's just assume here that we've got all 5 of your emails here, these indoctrination emails.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as somebody is done with those,
Yep.
then you would remove that tag.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a protector. But then the other thing you can do is, let's say you've got another nurture campaign that now you want to put people into.
Right.
You always think of tags can do multiple things. They tag people to let you know what their activity is. Mm-hmm. But tags are also a goal, just like this.
Okay.
So if I had a tag right here, and then I had a sequence right here, this is called a tag goal. So if I were to, at the end of this sequence, somebody has finished this. Mm-hmm. So I've removed the pause promo tag. They're done with this. Now I want to send them someplace else. Mm-hmm. I would apply a tag that says start nurture campaign, let's just say.
Or start ongoing, or
start right, exactly. Start.
Like that.
Yep.
Right.
That would be your tag name. Start whatever. Mm-hmm. Then here, this goal is achieved when any of these tags are applied. So you would select or start ongoing campaign tag right here. Mm-hmm. So that way, as soon as they finish this, they would come to the next campaign. This doesn't have to be in the same campaign. It can be in any campaign.
Right.
And that starts, and then you have your follow-up sequences here. And so it's really however you want to do things. I have a couple of these internally that run 90 days. And it gives me a chance to go in, and when I built it, I built it a week at a time, because I didn't want to get completely overwhelmed with having to build 90 days of content. And so I just built it 1 week at a time, knocked it out, and then had reminders on my calendar that was like, oh, you need to go add this content in. So at least once you've done it and you've got it scheduled out on your calendar to do it, it's done. And so you don't ever really have to go mess with it again. When you're going to do campaigns like this, though, you always want to remember to not write your content so that it's dated. So it's not like, hey, today Trump did, you know what I'm saying? Or anything current event specific and things like that, or else it just is going to date your content.
Okay.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah. And if I throw somebody in there a month from now, they would start getting the emails that are going out at that point. They wouldn't go back and start at the beginning of it.
I would not date them. I only use a date timer if I have a specific promotion that is running on May the 10th.
Okay.
If you want campaigns to be evergreen, you want to use delay timers. Delay timers are not date based. They are day or time based. Okay. And so you can always come in here and say, if you have like new content that comes out every Wednesday, you could come in here and say, you can run this on any Thursday.
Right. Got it.
And so there's lots of different options here. The date timer is specifically to say, today is May the 10th and our webinar starts in 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you were using a delay timer for this sequence, they're going to come in and they're going to start on email number 1.
Okay.
If you were running something like a summit, let's just say, and it was date specific, and you were marketing it for 30 days prior, if you drop someone in this campaign, they would skip everything before and they would enter on the exact day that they are supposed to enter. So if you're going to do that, you have to remember, like, is the content going to make sense to them? Because they've missed emails 1 through 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that was the only thing I was thinking. Because if I send something out to say, oh, I've got a new blog up there, or oh, I've got a new podcast, and then they go into it 2 months later, I guess it. I
don't ever. When I send out my new stuff, I send it out as a broadcast.
Got it.
But then I'll go back and use the podcast or the blog post. I'll use it in my engagement content, but I just won't say I released this today. You know, you may want to.
Okay, that answers my question.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to delete this really quick so that you don't get confused with that. All right, cool. So yeah, just work through this. And then if you get stuck or have any questions, post them in the group and then I can answer it on video because that'll help to, you know,
help
for
everybody.
you to see exactly what you've done. Yep. Does that sound good?
Okay. That sounds great. Thank you. That's been a huge help.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I will see you regardless. I will see you on Tuesday on the call.
Yeah, I know. So that's our last call? Is that the?
It is. Yep, it is our last. Let me stop recording this really quick.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yep. So that's our